Today, we're diving into a really powerful, maybe even kind of unsettling idea. It's this concept of an engineered reality. And no, this isn't science fiction. It's more of a way to understand that strange feeling. You know the one. That feeling that something about the world is just a little bit off.
Does that hit home for you? It's like this background hum of anxiety, the sense that things are just not quite right. It's a feeling that's really hard to put your finger on, but it just seems to be getting more and more common. And this is the core question we're exploring. What if that feeling of misalignment isn't just an accident of modern life? What if it's actually a symptom of a system that's been designed to work in a very specific way? To really get our heads around this, we actually have to go back in time, back to the 1970s, to a really chilling behavioral experiment. Now, it might seem totally random at first, but trust me, what happened here is a huge piece of this puzzle. So there was this behavioral scientist, John B. Calhoun, and he built what was, for all intents and purposes, mouse paradise. He gave them literally everything they could ever need. We're talking unlimited food and water, a perfect climate, and zero predators. It was designed to be a complete utopia. And at first, things went exactly as you'd think. The population boomed. It was great. But then, something really strange started to happen. Even though they had everything, their society just started to crumble. Mothers began abandoning their babies. Violence became rampant. And then this group emerged that the scientists called the beautiful ones. These were mice that did nothing but eat, sleep, and groom themselves. They completely withdrew, refused to mate, or interact with anyone. And eventually, reproduction just stopped. The entire colony died out. Just think about that for a second. They had everything they needed to survive, and yet their whole world just collapsed from the inside. They didn't die from hunger or disease. They died from a kind of social sickness that was born from having too much of a good thing. Just keep that image in your head. So, what on earth does a doomed mouse paradise have to do with us? Well, once you understand how a perfect world can still lead to collapse, you start to see the echoes of those symptoms all around us. So let's connect the dots. And this brings us right to that core idea, engineered reality. Now, this isn't about mind control or some crazy global conspiracy. It's something much, much more subtle. It's all about controlling the inputs, the information we all get every day to make our outputs, our behaviors, totally predictable. And this is a really key difference. See, most of us think manipulation is like fake news, right? Staged events. Stuff you can look up and say, nope, that's false. But engineered reality is way smarter. It uses real events, real problems, real suffering. The control isn't in the thing that happens. It's in the story that gets wrapped around it. So yeah, a terrible disaster can happen, a huge political scandal can break. Those things are absolutely real. But the narrative frame, the story that tells you what it all means, who to blame, and how you should feel about it, that's the part that's often very, very carefully built to guide your reaction. Okay, so if this is really happening, how do you even spot it? How do you see the code running in the background? Well, it's not about finding one single gotcha moment. It's about learning to recognize the patterns, the fingerprints of the program. You've noticed this, right? A story breaks, and suddenly dozens of different news channels are using the exact same words. Or a whole bunch of celebrities all post the exact same scripted message on the same day. Or how about the outrage of the week? Everyone's furious about one thing, and then poof, the next week, it's something totally new, spreading like wildfire. It's like everyone got the memo. Those are the fingerprints. And the goal behind it all is pretty simple. Steer your emotions. Because if a story can make you feel fear or anger or loyalty on command, then it can make your behavior predictable. You don't need to lock someone up when you can just guide how they react to things. All right, here's a little exercise you can start doing today. The very next time you see a big, screaming headline, just pause for 1 second. And before you even decide if it's true, ask yourself, what emotion is this story trying to make me feel right now? Is it fear, anger, division? That simple question is an incredibly powerful tool. Now, I know this all sounds kind of bleak, but the point here isn't to be paranoid. It's just to be aware. So what can you actually do about any of this? Well, let's talk about the escape plan. This quote just sums it all up perfectly.
In the world we live in today, you are either actively taking part in creating your own reality, or you're basically the software being run by someone else. There's really no middle ground.
So here it is, a simple 3-step way to start opting out. First, like we just talked about, identify the emotion the story wants from you. Second, ask that critical question, who benefits if I feel and act this way? And third, and this is the big one, start treating your attention like a resource, something you have to protect and train, just like a muscle at the gym.
You know, we tend to think that freedom is about having a million choices. But what if real freedom starts a step before that? What if it's about having control over your own mind, about deciding what you even allow in before you're presented with a choice? Because if your attention is constantly being pulled around, are your thoughts even really yours to begin with? And I'll just leave you with this final thought. We started this whole journey with Universe 25, that perfect mouse world that collapsed because total abundance took away all purpose. And now, here we are, as AI promises to give us a new age of unimaginable abundance. We have to ask the hard question. Are we, without even realizing it, building our own version of that perfect trap? A world where everything is easy, instant, and comfortable, and we have absolutely no idea why we feel so empty.